Hello and welcome back to my lecture on rural marketing. Uh, Today we will be continuing with the marketing strategies and tactics with rural markets. In our previous lecture, we have talked about segmenting, targeting, and positioning strategies, STP. Why these STPs are important in rural market. We talked about market segmentation. We discussed the definition part of market segmentation, prerequisites of market segmentation. We also talked about heterogeneity in rural areas, due to which market segmentation becomes necessary. Today, we will be discussing on basis of segmenting the rural consumer market. Now, there are many variables that are used for means that affects the needs, behavior, or affects the want of a consumer, either in urban areas or rural areas, and these variables need to be studied so that it may be easy for a marketer to segment a market and choose the segment that he could serve the best. Now, these variables for market segmentation are divided into four major segmentation variables. They are geographic segmentation, demographic segmentation, psychographic segmentation, and behavioral segmentation. These four are the major segmentation variables used for segmenting rural consumers. Now, we will be studying each one of these variables in details. All these four major variables will be having sub-variables in them. So let us start with geographic segmentation. Geographic segmentation includes region, village size, population density, climate, and culture. Now, the country like India have very diverse geography. Coastal areas in south are more or less having consistent temperatures throughout a year. They remain hot and humid most of the time. Considering North India, on the other hand, winters are prevalent. The mountain regions are most of the time covered with snow. Eastern India, you will be finding more of the rainfall and all. And west again is the coastal area. The climate in west remains hot and humid. Now this geography, on the basis of this geography, India could be divided into east, west, north, and south regions. And each region will have its own characteristics. The people living them will be behaving in a certain way. And these regional differences that exist in rural consumers of India or broadly the consumers of India could be expressed as in North, people are aggressive, they are dominant. For them, big is beautiful. So the product which is having a bigger size is preferred more in North India. For example, we could talk about mobile phones, smartphones. Few prefer big screens, few prefer handy pocket size screens. So accordingly, the type of customer demand, the company will be supplying those kinds of product. If big screens are preferred in North India, you will finding mobile handsets with large or a bigger screen in North India. East, people there are sensual, they are assertive, they are socialist, socialistic, and idealistic. Coming on to South, people are sensual, they are rational, and they are intelligent. These characteristics of the people living in various regions will shape up their needs and wants. And if we talk about West, leisure, simple life, for them money is God and they are democratic. So we could see from here each and every region will have certain difference in consumer characteristic which will shape their will shape their needs, which will be shaping their wants, and they will be and this will be uh, means these characteristics will also make certain type of product preferred in north, east, south, or west region. So preference of the product could also be based on these consumer characteristics. Now, if we talk about village sizes, again, a vast geography is there. In India, you will be finding villages with sizes less than 500 people to more than 5,000 people. The range is very vast. Now, if we could have these range, like we could divide or segmenting villages on the basis of population, we could divide those villages as population size is less than 500, 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 2,000, 2,000 to 5,000, and more than 5,000. Now, depending on the size of village, number of people living in the village, it has been seen that the infrastructure development is also accordingly. Rural lifestyle changes with where size because the level of infrastructure and economic development changes. Small villages may have not so good infrastructure or economic development. Large villages with huge population size may be more economically sound, the infrastructure may be good as compared. So village size could also be the population in the village or village size could also be taken as one of the variable for geographic segmentation. Next is population density. We could divide the villages as low, moderate, or high dense population density on the basis of population density, low, moderate, or highly dense population. Villages with high population density may have better infrastructure facility, higher purchasing power, because the reason remains same as village size, number of people living in the village will be more. Accordingly, infrastructure and economic development will be there. And if people are economically sound, they will be having higher purchasing power. Climate. India has three major climates: summer, rainy, and winter. And on the basis of these climates and the intensity that these climate have on the geography of India, certain product will be sold more in one place as compared to other market in India. For example, talcum powder or deodorant sell more in hot and humid part of South India. Severe winters in North India will lead to higher demand for Chyawanprash. So we could see from these example that the companies dealing in talcum powder or deodorants or perfumes, they will be finding South India or South Indian market as more lucrative because the climate there is hot and humid. People will be demanding more of these kinds of item. Whereas in North India, the companies dealing with Chyawanprash and other such types of item which keep people warm will be finding North India as a better market because these products will be in higher demand in North India. Next is culture. It is being rightly said that India is a land of diverse culture. Culture affects language, dress, food habits, etc. India is segmented into 56 socio-cultural regions. For example, if we talk about UP, Uttar Pradesh, a state in India, It has five broad socio-cultural regions like Awadh, Bundelkhand, Rohilkhand, Purvanchal, and Braj. And each of these regions will have its own culture, which will be different, subculture, its own subculture, which will be different from that of other. And this subculture definitely will affect the language, the dressing sense of the people, food habits, and even the festivals that they celebrate. Now, if the language is different, marketer has to communicate differently, keeping in mind local language while promoting a product. Eating habits, food habits will also change with change in the culture. Some culture people will be preferring more of rice, other they will be preferring more of wheat. So the product made of rice will be dominating in one region and product of wheat may be dominating in another. Next, demographic segmentation. Demographic segmentation includes age and life cycle, gender, family structure, and income. It also includes land ownership, occupation, religion, and caste. So, when we talk about age, definitely people will different age groups will be having different types of needs. They will be having different types of product preferences, and they will be having different type of lifestyle. For example, youth will be having a different kind of lifestyle as compared to a aged person. A child will be having a different kinds of need as compared to young adult. Confectionaries and toys will be desirable in childhood. Children will be needing more of the toffees, chocolates, toys, and these will be sold more to the children. Youth will be seeking for the motorcycle, soft drinks, trendy clothes, music systems, and so on. Now, company has to choose which segment they want to serve. They want to serve only one segment, for example, toys or confectionaries for children, or they want to serve all the segments. It depends on the company's objective. Next variable is gender. For example, male will be having different kinds, will be requiring different kinds of product. Females will be having the requirement for different kinds of product. For example, if we are talking about the face cream. Now this face cream is different for male and female today. There was a time when it was a fair and lovely that was sold to, same product was sold to male as well as female. Now the company has come up with exclusive exclusive uh, you could say creams for male, fairness cream for males, and exclusive fairness cream for females. And why this was being done by the company? Because the skin requirement of a male is different from that of a female. And the companies now have realized that males are equally consuming the fairness cream as compared to female. Lot many male fairness cream now you are finding in the market. Family structure, the family size, the structure of the family, that is whether it is nuclear family or joint family, is one of the important, is also one of the important variable in rural areas. Now the family which is large family or a joint family, they will be seeking more for the economy packs, larger packs that will work well with them. Whereas if the family is a nuclear family, they will be preferring a smaller size product because of the level of consumption that they are required. Larger families, joint families will be consuming more of the product. That is why they will be having the family pack, large pack, or economy pack. Nuclear family will become having comparatively less requirement. They will be consuming less of this product according to their family size, and thus they will be preferring for a small size product but small packs. Income. Rural areas, it has been found that income pattern is highly irregular. People have multiple sources of income, and this makes assessment of income in rural areas very difficult. And most of the time, marketer feels it very hard to determine the income pattern in rural market. Moreover, the flow of income in rural areas is mostly seasonal. It is not perennial. People will be having more money during harvesting season or post-harvest season when they will be selling the crop, and they will earn money. So spending will increase during these harvesting or post-harvest season. Land ownership. It includes land holding includes large farmer, medium farmer, semi-medium farmer, small farmers, or marginal farmers. Thus, the segmentation on the basis of land should include five factors: size of land holding, area of under land cultivation, irrigation method, agriculture productivity, and money realization. On the basis of this, if a person is holding a large amount of land, he is a bigger farmer, he will be earning more, and similarly, his consumption pattern will be different from a marginal farmer who's having a very limited land, very limited earning. Similarly, if irrigation method, people are using uh, a technologically updated irrigation method, agriculture productivity is more, they will be having more uh, productivity of crop, better income, and hence the requirement will be different from those who have less money. Occupation. Majority of people in rural areas are employed as self-employed agriculture or self-employed in non-agriculture, or they are agriculture or non-agriculture laborers, and they may be regular salaried people, though less, but you may find them. A marketer may consider these variation in occupation because the requirement that a self-employed person in agriculture or non-agriculture area will be having difference with the requirement of a person or a consumer who is agriculture or non-agriculture labor. Region and caste. Settlement of villages on the basis of region and caste are there in India. For example, you will be finding somewhere Rajput villages, somewhere you will be finding by other villages, and so on and so forth. And these region and caste will shape up the customer's preference towards a certain product. Third factor is psychographic segmentation. The psychographic segmentation includes personality traits, lifestyle, and value system. Lifestyle, what does it reflect? It reflects overall manner in which a person lives, spends time and money, and it has been found that people within same social class, they have similar kind of lifestyle where, and even we have found that though people lie within same social class, they may all have a varied lifestyle. They may be involved in different activities, interest, and opinion. So there are, so on the basis of lifestyle, People could be segmented on the basis of their activities, what they do, interests, what they have, and opinion, what they have towards a product or a category of product or towards a company or any personality. Personality traits, personality characteristics also need to be considered while segmenting a market. Why this personality is important? Because it will affect consumer preference for a product. For example, if I am well built and I have uh, good height, I may be using, if I, and I want to purchase a two-wheeler, a bike, I may be going for Enfield. If I am a girl with normal height and health, I may be preferring a scooty. Next is value system. Value system in rural area is very different as compared to urban. Traditions are more rooted in rural areas. They have uh, a, these traditions will have a predetermined value system that is deep rooted there, and people will act according to their value system. They will be preferring those products that are that these system allows for. Next is behavioral segmentation. It includes occasion, benefit sort, user status, users rate, loyalty status, and place of purchase. Occasion on which a people are making purchase or consumer is purchasing is important for a marketer to know, because on the basis of this he could segment the people who are purchasing weekly from weekly heart, or they are making a purchase during festival season, or they are making a purchase from Mela and all. In rural areas, most durable products are sold during or after the harvest season. Why? Because we have talked about earlier also, because during or post harvest season, they have more cash in hand by selling crop. The marketer must know when they have money and when they are ready to purchase. People in rural areas are also preferring Mela. Why this Mela they are preferring? Because they could get the product at attractive prices there. They could negotiate on price and purchase. Weekly hearts are there in rural areas where people purchase the product of daily use, vegetables and spices. So marketer must know which type of product will be sold in these hearts, and accordingly they could tap the customer with those products in that weekly have, or in Mela, or any such kind of activity or occasion. Next is benefit sort. Rural consumer considers benefit like economy, quality, convenience, durability, service, etc. And these benefits leads to customer satisfaction. And it has been found that rural consumers are more concerned with uses or utility of product than its appearance and sophistication. For example, a bike which will be giving better mileage, that will be strong, will be preferred more in rural areas. And if we are compared this with urban area, the bike with good looks, style, speed will be considered more in urban areas. User status. On the basis of users or on the basis of users, consumer may be categorized as X user or first time user or regular user or potential user. Rural consumer fall into category of first time users for most of the product. Therefore, the focus of the product should be on trial and demonstration. And this trial and demonstration play a crucial part in rural market. As the product could be targeted to rural consumer for the first time, they may be seeing for the product for the first time, they may not have used this product earlier, and so on and so forth. So most of the product in rural areas are for the first time users. And let us take an example of Ghari detergent. They used tagline पहले इस्तेमाल करें फिर विश्वास करें. And this tagline was specially designed for Indian rural areas. And this is how they have induced, this is how the Ghari has induced rural consumers to try to their new product or try to their product. It became, this was a good, successful campaign from Ghari. Then users rate on the basis of amount of consumption, consumer can be classified as light, medium, or heavy users. Users of most of FMCG products is relatively lower in among rural consumers because of poor affordability. And to tackle that, marketers have launched small packs or sachets for rural consumers and family packs for joint families or economy pack for joint families. So they will be having either very small packets or the family packs, nothing in between. Because those who can't afford, they will be using these small packs. Those who are having large family and could afford, they will be going for economy pack. Loyalty status. It has been found that rural buyers take long time to decide on a particular brand. But if they are convinced, they will be more loyal towards the product. So the task for marketer is to convince the rural consumers, and once convinced, they will be more loyal towards a particular product as compared to urban counterparts. And researchers have found that first movers advantage play an important role in rural areas. Next is place of purchase. Rural consumer buy different products and services at different marketplace. They buy from village shops, they buy from weekly huts, they buy from nearby towns, or from melas, or from state capital. And the kind of product they buy from these places has certain kind of similarity. For example, most of the rural consumer will buy tea, kerosene, and these types of items from village shops daily. Rural market in rural market people will be preferring weekly hours for purchase of food grains, pulses, and vegetables. They will be going for fertilizer and seed to nearby town on monthly basis. For clothes, the jewelry, cosmetics, they will be visiting melas, which is occasional. And for any kind of legal matter or for recreation and all, they will be occasionally visiting to state capital. Market must know these occasions. Marketer must know which type of product will be sold from these places. They must know the frequency when the consumer will be visiting to these places. And accordingly, that could be segmented and targeted. Multi-attribute segmentation. It has been found that market segmentation is very complex function and it depends on multiple factors. And practically speaking, it is very difficult for a marketer to depend on single variable for segmenting the market. Thus, some companies and research agencies have developed multi-attribute segmentation for market planning. For example, TRIM, Thomson Rural Market Index, Hindustan Thomson Associate developed a guide to rural market segmentation in 1972 and they revised it in 1986. They collected data of 335 districts based on 26 variables. And statistically, they have correlated this. And TRIM is based on 10 variables having a strong correlation in rural potential. These 10 variables include agricultural labor, gross cropped area, gross irrigated area, area under non-food crop, pump sets, fertilizer consumption, tractors, rural credit, rural deposits, and electrification. And based on these factors, districts are classified as A, B, C, or D in order of high to low market potential. So by this, we could find the market which is having a great potential, or we could also find a market which is having the low potential. And marketer may capture or target the high potential market accordingly with this knowledge. And marketing strategies could be planned accordingly. Another is MICA, rural marketing, rural market rating. It is MRMR. It was developed by Mudra Institute of Communication, Ahmedabad, MICA, in association with ML Infomap Private Limited, New Delhi. The Rural Market Index indicates rural market potential of all districts in India and analyzed 42 variables. They use digital marketing mapping technology. It presents maps of all districts shaded to indicate level of market potential. Now, this will help a manager to graphically see areas with pattern of market potential. So manager could graphically see the different patterns of market potential from these maps. He could find out the places or areas of great potential, and he may target or segment the product accordingly. So this was all for today. We'll be back with further lectures shortly. Till then, thank you.